Hell in a Cell is taking place in San Antonio, Texas tonight. And it's worth noting WWE decided to change the Hell in a Cell. The Hell in a Cell is now red. It looked great. I thought it looked, I like the original Hell in a Cell look the best from the original one. Then, of course, they updated it, I think, in 2006, and they made it bigger. But I thought the original look looked more sinister. I think the new one just looked, a little bit too advanced. And I guess it is, it had to evolve a bit. But I'm much more of always been a much bigger fan of the original Hell in a Cell. And I like how the original Hell in a Cell, it would always, it looked like it was about to fall apart. I remember when The Undertaker and Mankind were walking and they're almost sinking through the cage. I thought the original Hell in a Cell was way cooler, but it's red now. Some people are comparing it to a TNA structure they had a while ago. So the whole red Hell in a Cell, it actually kind of looks a little cool when I see it, but I'm much more fan of, I think you can just keep it the silver look. It looks better, but the show had the pre-show match with the New Day beating Rusev and English. I did not get a chance to see it. Unfortunately, I didn't watch it, but I did watch the whole main card. We started off with a Hell in a Cell match with Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy, and this was my most anticipated match. This was the match I was looking forward to watching more than anything on the whole show, just because, not so much for the match itself. Okay, what the fuck is Jeff Hardy gonna do? Is Jeff Hardy gonna die tonight? Is he gonna jump off from the top of the cell? What I was hoping is he's gonna climb to the top, swanton onto Orton through an announce table, or he misses maybe. Instead, we got a long match. It was basically like a TLC match. They used the chairs, they used ladders, and they used a table. So they were basically having, they didn't even touch the cell. They didn't even use the cell. My only thing was, okay, maybe they're just going to have Reigns and Strowman do a big spot and they don't want to waste it. But they didn't barely even use the cell at all. I hate that. I hate when WWE has Hell in a Cell matches, or cage matches for that matter, and they don't let the wrestlers do anything with the cell. It pisses me off. I want to see them use the cell. Even if they don't have to go outside, use it as a cage match on the outside. I hate when they don't use the cell. They just have a match. They just have a hardcore match. You even need Hell in a Cell. Just have a street fight. They use they used a leather strap, or not a leather strap, a belt. A belt was used. And of course, the nastiest part was Randy Orton takes a screwdriver and he puts in Jeff Hardy's ear. He was putting his finger in his ear and he puts it through the lobe in Jeff's ear and he just starts twisting it. That looked absolutely disgusting. Even though it was really safe, he really can't twist it because Orton had his finger in Hardy's ear and really didn't twist it. But when it looked absolutely nasty as fuck. It looked disgusting. But the match is building. Hardy hits a swanton onto Orton, with a chair on Orton's chest, and then the big spot was Hardy. He goes from the top, he climbs to a ladder. He gets to the top of the cage. He's still in the cage, but he's holding on to the roof of the cage, and he's about to do a splash and goes off. Holy shit! RKO through a table. Instead, he just does a splash and misses, and you can see Orton missed. I hated the ending. It looked bad. The match was good. I hated the ending. I thought that spot looked stupid as fuck. I made Hardy look like an idiot. I thought for sure RKO through that table, 100%. They didn't do it. And the match just ends, and the ref screaming, "Get him help, get help!" He didn't throw it up the X, so you can tell Hardy was fine. You want Hardy to be okay. This was disappointing. It's Jeff Hardy in a Hell in a Cell. He's wanted a Hell in a Cell for so long. You wanted to see him do a big spot. It is what it is, and Hardy gets stretchered out. This was okay. Then we go to the biggest surprise of the night: Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's title. They had a really good match, very good. I don't think they might have had better matches than this, but this was a good match. I enjoyed it. I thought it could have gone a bit longer, but they're having a really good match. And out of nowhere, Becky Lynch is a champion. Holy fuck! I was not expecting that. That was a great moment. Becky Lynch is the SmackDown Women's champion. She beat Charlotte Flair. They had a really good match. I really enjoyed it. Crowd loved when Becky won. They were booing Charlotte. They were cheering for Becky. The match was a lot of fun. It was, again, a really entertaining match. The ending came, I think Charlotte goes for a spear and Becky reverses into a pinfall. That looked a little bit botched, but the match was a lot of fun seeing Becky Lynch win the title. So Becky is the new SmackDown Women's Championship. The one thing I'm thinking to myself was, okay, clearly Becky's going to remain heel. They're having a rematch at Super Showdown, which I think Becky's probably going to keep the belt. Even if she doesn't beat Charlotte, she'll keep the belt because I can't imagine they're going to have Charlotte, they're probably gonna have another match at Evolution, so Becky, there's no way she's losing the title at Super Showdown. But what happens here is after the match, they have Charlotte go to shake Becky's hand like she did at SummerSlam. Becky does not do it. She raises up the title in Charlotte's face. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I think this whole thing was done to get sympathy for Charlotte, so the fans don't hate Charlotte. Charlotte won't get booed much after this. Becky's champ. They should be happy. They're just going to give Becky a reign. I think Charlotte will go after Ronda at WrestleMania. And I don't think Charlotte's going to get the belt back from Becky. It wouldn't make much sense. Although they could do an Evolution. They could do that. But I think Charlotte's probably going to win the Royal Rumble, because if Charlotte can't win the title back, she's facing Ronda at WrestleMania. How is she going to get the belt back? It doesn't make much sense. It makes sense for her to lose to Becky, but if she wins the title, she's going to lose the title again? I'm assuming she's just going to go and, probably, I don't know, Becky will feud with someone else. It'll be interesting, because it has to be Ronda and Charlotte, because I don't think they can do champion versus champion like people are saying. How the hell are they going to do that? You have to have the Royal Rumble, unless they're going to cancel the Women's Rumble. So I think we'll see what they go from here. But Becky is your new SmackDown champion. That's really cool. Even though I think the whole idea was more to get sympathy for Charlotte. But Becky's champ, we can't complain too much. It's what we wanted. Next was the match. Probably, it's going to be hard to top this. The tag team championships, McIntyre and Ziggler against Rollins and Ambrose. This was great. This was definitely my favorite match. This was a hell of a match. Crowd was into it. They're doing everything here, especially when it was Rollins and Ziggler. And they've had a lot of pay-per-view matches, and when they got in the ring together for a while, they had like this 3-minute sequence. It was fucking incredible. It was insanity. Those two, you can tell, are kind of a different level than the other two. And I like Ambrose and I like McIntyre, but you can tell when those two are, those are two of the best wrestlers in the world, especially when they were going at it. This was a hell of a match. Great match. I love the ending. So, there's too much spots to go over, but, Rollins does that superplex when, he does the superplex and he holds on, he goes for another one, and then what happens is McIntyre hits his finisher, his kick, and then Ziggler pins Rollins, and Ziggler and McIntyre retain their tag titles. We'll see where they go from here, but that was just a great match. Definitely the match of the night. It was excellent. Crowd was just losing their minds. This was just so much fun. Commentary was losing their minds here. This was a great match. Also, I forgot to mention, there was some stupid segment earlier on the show with the New Day and the whole pancakes, and kind of like football, they're dumping the pancakes. The whole Gatorade bath, the pancake bath, that was stupid as fuck. Then we go to the WWE Championship, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. This was okay. This was good. I liked their SummerSlam match better. They had a good match here. It was fun, but I enjoyed their SummerSlam match a lot more. It's like they're continuing the feud. It's like, how many screwy finishes have they done with AJ Styles this year? They had like 1 million screwy finishes with Nakamura. That's so much. I'm tired of all these finishes. It was a good match, but I thought they had a much better match at SummerSlam. I was way more into that, and that was a lot more fun, I felt. And I felt like the feud was still fresh, and even though Joe won, that was a DQ, and this they actually had a finish, but it was like another screwy finish. What it was is, they're going to continue to feud at Super Showdown. What it was, okay, WWE has done this finish 1 million times. You have someone in some kind of sleeper hold or some kind of choke, and then the wrestler is able to land on top of them and get him to a pinning position, kind of like Bret Hart and Stone Cold at Survivor Series 96. I think Finn Balor and Samoa Joe actually had a finish like that at a takeover. They've done this thing 1 billion times. I swear to God, I'm so fucking sick of. Stop doing that fucking spot, for God's sakes. Anyway, Joe gets AJ in the coquina clutch. AJ pins Joe 1, 2, 3, but then they show on the replay AJ tapped out, so it's gonna be a big controversy. Joe had to finish her in. AJ tapped out, but the ref didn't see it. He was on the other side. I guess they don't do instant replay. They do instant replay in football. You see 1 million times they do it in football and every other sport, basketball, baseball, whatever. There's instant replay, but there's no instant replay in the WWE. Fuck that. Anyway, AJ still champ. Match was good. I thought the SummerSlam match was more fun. Then we go to a mixed tag match. Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella against The Miz and Maryse. This was a good match. It was getting really entertaining. Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella started to take over, and that's when it got really good, especially when Daniel Bryan and Brie were taking over. But then the ending just killed the match. The ending just ruined the match. I don't know if I've seen that something like this. Was a really fun match. It was entertaining. People like Daniel Bryan, but then Brie and Maryse have this exchange. It is the most hideous thing you'll ever see. This is the reason why we hate divas. This was Divas division 2006 through 2000, I don't know, 12, something like that. Divas wrestling, fucking embarrassing. Just ruined the match. So Miz and Maryse win. Maryse pins Brie. The most awful sequence you've ever seen. That ruined the match for me, but it was still fun. Daniel Bryan's still over. I guess Brie, Bella, and Maryse are going to have another match. I think probably the Evolution, and Daniel Bryan and The Miz are going to wrestle at the Super Showdown. But
in this match, it was a joke. I mean, I knew what they wanted to do with Ronda Rousey's ribs. They were selling it on Raw. The whole idea was for Ronda Rousey to not destroy Alexa Bliss 2 pay-per-views in a row, and Ronda sells like 75 or probably 80% of the match to Alexa Bliss. Alexa completely dominates Ronda because of her ribs. Ronda Rousey, with her whole ribs broken, can murder Alexa Bliss in 30 seconds if she wanted to. They've succeeded in making Ronda Rousey feel like an ordinary, like she's no longer special. She's lost all her prestige after all the momentum she had when she first came in. It's all gone. Ronda Rousey's just like any other woman. She's a diva. It's the Divas division. It's like Alexa Bliss. It's who they want to push. They had her on the cover of the app they're trying to push, the Superstars app. They love her. She's their hot blonde. She's blonde. She talks really well. It's the woman who they want to push. She's their top star, or second top female star behind Charlotte. They love Alexa Bliss. They're going to push her heavily, and they had her dominate the match. But of course, Ronda, we all knew Ronda would win. It's just the whole ribs. I thought the selling was not good. I didn't like Ronda's selling. It annoyed me. I didn't like how Bliss kept getting so much offense in the match. Can they at least tape up Ronda's ribs? I was not a big fan. Ronda gets the victory, and now, okay, it's one thing. She sells for Alexa Bliss for like 10 minutes. Are you ready to see Ronda Rousey sell for Nikki Bella? Yeah, I can't wait. So Nikki dominates the whole match. It's going to be a hard-fought match. It's going to be a war. They're going to put over Nikki heavily, have Cole and all of them putting over her heavily, and for Ronda will miraculously, Super Ronda, makes her return, makes her come back and retains her to Evolution. But that's where they're going. So that's right. Let's look forward to Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella. Main event's up next. You have Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Hell in a Cell. All right, so before I talk about this match, before it starts, I'm just going to say one thing. We all know Brock Lesnar is in San Antonio. He's in the arena. He's in the AT&T Center. We'll see what he does. It'll be interesting. Well, my prediction before this match officially starts is Brock... He F5s Braun Strowman. He beats them both and beats down Reigns and Strowman. Then he puts Reigns over Strowman so he can get his rematch with Reigns. That's what I think is going to happen. We'll see if that does. But Foley's a special guest referee. And also with Mick Foley, a special guest referee. Airing a documentary later tonight, which I really want to watch. I'm looking forward to that more than I'm looking forward to this main event of him talking about the 20-year Hell in a Cell with The Undertaker. And I will be reviewing, there will be an LRMania review of that documentary later this week, so for sure you're going to see that. Anyway, I was not a fan of this main event. So the match is basically a street fight. I mean, they used the cage a bit more than Orton and Hardy did, but it wasn't much. Strowman uses the steel steps a lot. There's a lot of steps. There was a spot when he bounced him off the cage and hit him with the steps. I mean, Reigns was running at him and then Strowman hit him with the steps. It was kind of like when Reigns was running at him a year ago and Strowman hit him with a computer chair in the fucking face. It was kind of like that. Foley didn't take any bumps here. He can't, I guess, even though he's in a lot better condition. It was just a match. They've had a million matches. It wasn't that good. Strowman completely dominated. So you think, okay, Reigns isn't going to make that babyface comeback. But all Reigns really did was hit a bunch of Superman punches, and he spears Braun Strowman through at the table that's set up in the corner. So that's a spot. And then they're both out for 10 minutes. After that, they're both out for, actually, you know what, 15, 20 minutes. They're not even able to move after that. Really that. After that, then they're both unconscious. Strowman kicks out, and they're both completely unconscious. Then Ziggler and McIntyre come out, then Ambrose and Rollins come out to attack them, and it basically turns into a 6-man, but it doesn't really, since the other two are basically just wrestling, on top of the cage. They all climb up. First Rollins and Ziggler and Ambrose and McIntyre follow. Ambrose brings a kendo stick. They're all hitting each other, and it just, it just kind of, that's it. That's all I was going to get. I thought someone was going to do a big dive, and the big spot that they didn't let Jeff Hardy do his big swanton, but the big spot they had to do was Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler wrestling on the side of the cage. They fight, and then they both fall down. And they did that exact same spot 4 years ago when Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose had a Hell in a Cell match. They did that exact same spot. That was the big spot they had planned. So Ambrose and McIntyre actually are still up on the cage. I'm thinking someone might smash through the cage No, Brock Lesnar comes out as I expected, so I thought he was going to like screw Strowman. He doesn't do anything. They had Paul Heyman spray Mick Foley in the eye with the pepper spray, so that takes out Foley. And then Lesnar beats down Reigns and Strowman. I think these guys have been through hell. Didn't they have like all these they've like killed themselves all of like last year. They had fucking Braun Strowman tip them over in an ambulance. Now all they can do, now they're both laid out. So Lesnar beats them both down. It was kind of cool. He kicked down the door. I'll give him that. He F5s them both. 2 F5s, and now they're both unable to continue, so it's a no contest. The first Hell in a Cell to end, I think, ever like in a no contest. The referee comes out and waves the match, even though he's in the ring. Foley's can't referee. The match is over. There's bodies everywhere. What bullshit. They ended the show right away. Horrible ending. I hated that. I mean, you don't want to book a Hell in a Cell. What you could have done, just book AJ Styles and Samoa Joe in the Hell in a Cell, and have Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman have a match, a singles match. Brock ruins the match, and let AJ and Joe main event and have a great match, and that's the end of the show. Why the fuck are you doing this? So don't book the match. They didn't want to beat Reigns because they love Reigns. He's their golden boy, and they don't want to beat Strowman. They have a lot invested in Strowman. They built him up a lot. They don't want to beat him. They just turned him heel, so let's do this bullshit no finish. I hated the ending. The show was, the first 3 matches were really good. I mean, Hardy and Orton was good, even though I wasn't a big fan of the ending. The women's match with Charlotte and Becky I thought was really, really good. And I thought the tag title match for the Raw titles was great. So those 3 matches really started off, and I thought the show went down. AJ and Joe was good, not as good as their previous match at SummerSlam. The mixed tag, again, was a good match. It just had a horrible ending. I thought the worst match of the night was easily the Raw Women's title, Ronda and Lex. I was not a fan of that. And the main event, just the ending, is like, that's it. But I'd still say this was better than most WWE shows. It started off really hot. It's still a decent show. One of their better shows, easily one of the 3-4 best show pay-per-views, WWE pay-per-views, not NXT, but for WWE, easily one of their better shows they put on this year. But that ending is it's gonna leave a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths.